Hi YouTubers, and welcome to Can't Cook with Jason. Today I'm going to show you how to make Japanese cheesecake, which is like nothing you've tried before. It's a notoriously tricky dessert to perfect, so keep watching and I'll list my top do's and don'ts and some top secrets that will help you crack that perfect Japanese cheesecake. Japanese cheesecake is a souffle type cheesecake, which has a texture that is like no other. In order to prevent the most common problem, which is a cracked dome, we need to create a water bath that emits a consistent steam during the entire cooking process. So grab a roasting tray and fill this with some water. You only need enough water to ensure that the pan doesn't go dry, so I find around 1 centimeter in depth is more than sufficient. Then stick the pan into the oven and make sure you switch it to a top and bottom function, not fan assisted, and aim for a temperature of 125 Celsius. I highly recommend buying a little oven thermometer, which will be far more accurate. To make the cheesecake mixture, we start with slowly warming up and combining 60 milliliters of whole milk, 40 grams of butter, 160 grams of cream cheese. Mix well and stir to create a smooth and thick sauce, taking care to do this slowly over a low heat. Then add 50 grams of sifted plain flour and then 15 grams of corn starch, and mix well to incorporate the flour, which will thicken the sauce dramatically as it cooks out. Then add 5 egg yolks and stir well. We don't need the heat on anymore, as the residue heat will be sufficient to help ensure everything is amalgamated. We are looking for a thick custard-like consistency here and a lovely yellow colour. Once done, put aside. Now let's add the 5 egg whites into a stand mixer, or you can use a food processor or a stick blender or good old-fashioned hand whisk. We're almost making a meringue here, but the key difference is to aim for a soft peaks, which will fold over. Carefully add in the 100 grams of fine sugar over the course of 2 to 3 goes, so it is thoroughly incorporated into the meringue and doesn't cause a collapse. You can also add cream of tartar, but I've never needed it. Once all the sugar is added, you can crank up the speed of the mixer stand. It normally takes between 4 to 5 minutes to reach the soft peaks that we're aiming for. A key prerequisite to ensuring your egg whites whip up nicely is to ensure there is no oil or grease in the bowl, such as egg yolk from the egg separation stage. Okay, let's check the meringue. As you can see, the egg whites are whisked enough that they don't gloop and run, yet they aren't stiff peaks. Instead, they slightly curl over with their own weight, which is the perfect consistency. I find of all the stages, this next bit is the most overlooked in the thousands of recipes I've come across. So step 1 is to take a third of the egg whites and carefully spoon into the saucepan with your batter. Using a whisk, slowly and carefully stir, not whisk, everything until it becomes a single colour. Step 2, carefully transfer everything to a larger mixing bowl, ensuring you get as much of the batter as you can. Then add in another third of that meringue and again slowly stir with the whisk. Step 3, add the remainder of the meringue mixture and slowly stir the whisk. Then using a flattish spoon, very carefully fold the mixture and scrape the bottom of the bowl to ensure any untouched batter is mixed in with the egg whites. You'll know if you've done a good job when you pour this mixture into the cake tin later on. The amount of mixture we made is the exact amount for an 18cm diameter round cake tin. So cut a piece of parchment paper to fit the bottom and then lightly grease the sides of the tin. Slowly pour our cheesecake mix into the cake tin. And then using a skewer, systematically swirl from the center moving outwards, as this will help to bring the larger air bubbles to the top and then to pop them. Larger air bubbles are the enemy of a successful cheesecake. Then finally tap the cake tin down 5 to 6 times to break any remaining large air bubbles that surfaced, and then transfer to the water bath. To break down the oven baking stages, first we bake for 10 minutes at 125 degrees Celsius. After the 10 minutes is up, we increase the heat to 150 Celsius and bake for another 25 minutes. This is where you see the big rise and the top of the dome will start to turn a lovely toffee brown colour. After 25 minutes, turn the heat down to 100 degrees Celsius and open the oven door for 4 to 5 seconds to help drop that heat. This will help prevent the top from cracking. Okay, and here we are. After a torturous 1 hour 45 minutes in the oven, we have our cheesecake. I find that tapping the tin lightly helps to unstick the cake from the sides so it comes out more easily. Place a piece of baking paper on the top of the cheesecake and then a plate on top, and it's tightrope time. Grab the cake tin, ouch, not with bare hands, and it's time to flip the cheesecake so we can remove it from the pan. Okay, drum roll please. Come on, please be a good boy and come out in one piece for the camera. Come on, just look at the rise on that thing. Absolutely amazing. Let's go and peel off that bottom piece of baking paper. And now the second tightrope. Flip the cheesecake back onto its bottom. Ta-da! Look at that beauty. No! I damaged the side. What an idiot. Now it's time to carefully cut into this with my sharpest knife. It's surprisingly difficult to cut without rupturing or cracking the surface, as the cheesecake is still hot. Sublime. Absolutely sublime. I'm lost for words. Just look at that jiggle. Absolutely perfect. I'm a very happy man. The cheesecake can be eaten while still warm, but most people prefer to eat it when fully cooled, as it has a much creamier texture, but still cotton pillowy light. A light dusting of icing sugar is the finishing touch to one of the best desserts ever. As promised, here's a list of my top do's and don'ts so that you too can say you have perfected the Japanese cheesecake. And there you have it, jiggly, fluffy, light, creamy Japanese cheesecake. Any questions, please post in the comments. Remember to subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you next week.